Hey Internet, Jesse at Ish Guitars here with Tom behind the camera. We are on a little road trip to Spector's new factory. I shouldn't even say factory, it's more of like a workshop really. And down here in Woodstock, New York, we are deep in the Catskills right now, going through this absolutely gorgeous road. We just passed Spector's old shop. It doesn't look great. It was a little bit better than a shed. They built those Woodstock bases there for years. Obviously, put amazing quality out from that facility, but there was a lot left to be desired. And really, when Korg bought Spector, they wanted to up the quality of the USA builds. They were already amazing, but they could be even better, and they want to continue pursuing that. Now, Ish Guitars is only about 3 hours from Spector's workshop here in Woodstock, New York. We're up in Syracuse. It's just a quick jaunt down the thruway. So we're going to be down here a lot more often coming up now that we're post-COVID and we can go out and about.
In 500 feet, turn right onto State Route 28.
That's where we're going. So we'll be here a lot more often, so keep an eye on our social media for announcements when we're making a factory trip. We can help you pick woods and stuff while we're down here. It'll be really cool. So we made it. I put on my Ish tie-dye shirt since we're in Woodstock and we're all here with hippies. And this is Will, the new shop manager here at Spector. And we haven't even really been inside yet, so take us on a tour, Will.
Yeah, absolutely. Come on in. They can be a bit slippery.
This is so cool. Oh, you
yeah, welcome to the shop.
Hello. How you doing? What's up?
We got Colin, Tad,
Hi.
Rob.
Hello.
All working on bases in different stages right now, but this is where the majority of production happens, from initial glue ups all the way through sanding and staining before it goes out for finish.
Yeah. This is absolutely gorgeous. Like this whole thing is such a better vibe than the other spot. This is just like when you see
The old spot had character.
It did have character. I don't know if you've ever seen like any of the factory tours of, because we were just talking about car stuff, like McLaren or something like that, right?
It's spotless.
Where you see a factory that's like, fast, production factory, and then you see like McLaren's factory or like a supercar factory where everything's like very low key, like relatively quiet. Everyone's taking their time and doing a good job. Like that's the vibe I get off of this. It's like McLaren kind of vibe.
All right, I'll take that.
So that's really cool.
That.
That's great right off the start.
Yeah, especially if we're getting ready for Monaco this weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Show me your cool gadgets.
Yeah. Let's start with the
machines.
machine. We've got two pedal CNC machines that are running, mainly one for necks, one for bodies.
Okay. Because I know that was an issue before at the other facilities. There was one CNC, and a lot of the tooling they had to change tooling in order to do, like, let's say, necks. So if a neck got screwed up, they'd have to wait another, let's say, 2 months until they had to run necks again.
Traditionally things have been done in batches, so we'd do all the necks at once, and then move the fixtures, move the tooling and everything, and then do all the bodies at once. Now we're on a more steady rotation. We've got people kind of working at every part of the instrument at any given time.
Right, that's cool.
So yeah,
especially
when you're building necks while building bodies while they're standing up to stuff that they did the week before.
Right, because if you're doing production runs, that's fine. But this is like custom, one-off stuff. Obviously
built to order,
Exactly. So that's really cool because previously, like with USA Spector stuff, like we've been a dealer. That was my first dealership actually. Spector. I was 16. I started shop. So it was, it was custom, but it really wasn't necessarily.
It's batch built.
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily like a custom shop. Obviously, Federa's been much better at that. We're a Federa dealer too, so I'm familiar with the whole process.
Yep.
So it's kind of really cool to see Spector really go like full.
Oh yeah. And you see the full spectrum of that even here just in this one neck rack alone, where we've got Doug Wimbish profiles, standard 4-string neck profiles, everything from Pau Ferro ebony, Macassar ebony. We've got some Pale Moon ebony going. Matching quilted maple headstock that's going to have really nice quilt top.
Wood.
Yep, really nice Macassar.
Oh, a matched headstock.
Yep, matching headstock.
Was that your thing?
Started, you were asking when I was.
Oh, we were totally going to do
Oh yeah, we got some good options.
Okay, so this is your
So
your
yeah,
neck
this
toy.
is mainly set up for necks, but we do of course have the ability to still change out fixtures and do one-off things on either machine, as the case may be.
You got tool changers, cool. And so what is this thing here? This is some sort of pneumatic device?
Yeah, it's just a vacuum to hold it down so we don't have to clamp anything from the top, so it can be run and cutting the surface. This is the vacuum.
So this is actually the vacuum.
And this is where it pulls vacuum.
So it's like a modular vacuum? That's really cool. So I actually built a CNC machine myself when I was like 18. I'm a total nerd.
Cool.
To build, I made carbon fiber picks, actually.
Ah, cool.
Car-related stuff all the time. So I still have it, actually. I haven't used it in years now because we got a lot busier with the retail side of things from like the manufacturing. But yeah, like CNC machines, lasers, I'm like all there.
Yeah.
It's like, I love that stuff.
Before we get on to this stuff, here's where we do bodies. You can see the exact same process. We've got
this is
vacuum
cool.
tables set
Can
up.
we open those? That's so
So
cool.
similar tools set up on this machine. But yeah, these are the vacuum fixtures that hold the body down after it's rough cut, and then it carves the top, drills the electronic holes,
That's so
flip it
cool.
over, carves the back, carves out the electronics cabinet.
It's amazing. And there's some of that maple and with the
Bark
infused
infused,
bark.
yeah.
Yeah, the bark infused maple. So to kind of explain these vacuum tables, the issue is, right, when you have one of these cutting tools come down and you're trying to carve, let's say, like this curve on the side, right?
Yep.
If you have clamps that are clamping this down so it doesn't move, then how the heck do you carve that? You can't do that. So a vacuum table is the best way to do it because then you don't have any clamps on any side, and usually it's pulling such suction it can actually hold better than clamps do half the time also. So that's really cool. It's a great way to do it. It's the only way to do it, really, especially with a curve like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
and you'll see back here all the different fixtures that we have. We're still in the old shop, but we're constantly improving, making new fixtures, trying to improve on old designs for sure. Some have been through the ringer, yeah.
This looks like a guitar headstock.
There were guitar headstocks on there at one point, but yeah, that's the general headstock fixture for cutting out the profile as well as the tuner holes.
This is interesting. So what did these go? So these are from the previous shop to go in the CNC.
Some of them are previous, some of them are modern. They're all set up to go on
so
the tables now.
It's so funny because I'm seeing all these names that like I'm familiar. Like this one says Wide 5 on it. Like I'm seeing all these names that are so familiar to me of ordering stuff. Did you see that, Tom? Did you see the X body? Oh, very cool. That's cool.
So that's the top carb fixture. Here's the back carb fixture.
Oh, I see.
Vacuums down an already curved surface, so the top gets profiled and then it pulls vacuum off the curved surface.
Positive and negative. That's cool. So this is the electronics cavity right here, I'm assuming? That's so cool.
Yeah, you got to be careful when pulling vacuum around certain areas. We wanted to avoid those potholes because these are all opportunities for air to get in and to negate the vacuum effect. So we had to have one vacuum around one pothole.
I wasn't sure for something
and
for
the
like
rest
shipping
of
or
it-
something.
Nope, it's simply for keeping the vacuum.
What was on this rack that you were going to show us?
Obviously, after the bodies and necks get programmed here or carved here, they get glued up. They get glued up on these tables. After they get glued up, they come back to the machines and they get the tops and back carves refined.
That's cool. Oh,
So
wow.
this is yet to get the back carved, but this will all come off on the CNC.
So so
excess.
that actually comes off in the CNC.
Yep.
That's pretty wild.
And then everything gets refined by hand because obviously this is a pretty rough surface. These surfaces are not dead perfect. That has to be done by hand.
Right, of course. So these tooling marks here, I'm assuming, are where that's how you're aligning the machine?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, because the issue is, right, if you take this thing and it's computer carved and you stick it back in the machine, it doesn't just know where it is, right? It's not magic. So you have to put something in here. Again, on PRS, they actually, for their fretboards, they hide this underneath their fretboards. They have these little holes. If you ever see a blank from their fretboards, you'll see those marks on there, so they can align it to the fretboard or up and then carve it. That's cool.
So yeah, these are all ways to get processed. Once it's done, the back carve will be something like that.
Right.
To be refined by hand. The end block gets chopped off, rounded over by hand.
See, I didn't know that end block came out like that. I didn't realize how much of it stuck up on the
clamping.
back.
Yep.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, so you have one flat spot to actually clamp down because obviously a fully contoured radius body is very difficult to clamp down. So you leave that thing locked so you have a flat space.
Well, so that's a great talking point actually, right? Is that when you're looking at that body shape, you know, you kind of take it for granted if you haven't done this before, but to take a piece of wood and then have this other piece of wood going through it and everything glued together, and then also that curve in there, it's really complex. It's like really, and if you think about it, think about any other base builder. Actually, I'm trying to think right now, literally any other base. I don't think anybody else has anything on the back. It's usually always just a straight flat back. Maybe you get a body contour, but like that's very simple to do. But to actually get that whole thing curved,
full radius top and back.
I think people really don't understand.
There's a lot of challenges that go into that.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, we just cut it kind of sideways.
You know how they used to do it, by the way? So what they used to have, and Vinny told me this story, they used to have this giant belt sander. I think they still do this for the Euro Series. Giant belt sander with the grid on the inside of the belt. You would stick the base in between the two belts as they're running around, and you have just a paddle that you push down on, and you're just constantly moving the base around within that giant sander to get that.
Holy crap!
To get that radius shape. Yeah.
That's probably going
They've
through
been
a lot
doing
of
that since the 70s.
I feel like you go through a lot of sanding belts.
Yeah,
I mean, taking off like
big,
that much material.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Obviously, an example of the next base here.
That's very
much
cool.
larger body.
Double humbuckers.
Flatter, you know, makes it much easier to process and carve and everything.
Are there any, we'll get to that later. I want to ask you if there's any builds you're really excited about, but we'll get to that in a second.
All right, yeah, we'll come around this way. Obviously, plenty of other tools to trade here.
Yeah.
This amazing fret cutting machine, which was in the old shop. I'm sure you.
I didn't see this before. No. I was at the last time I was at the old shop was, I mean, this was years ago now.
So this is a machine that was designed and made specifically for this shop. It takes the fret wire, and because we do pocketed frets, so the fret ends aren't sticking out on the end.
Yep.
It trims and cuts every fret. So it cuts the excess tang off and also files down the bottom edge.
No way.
Yep.
And it does the whole thing in one process?
So you pick a fret and it'll cut as many of that one fret as you want. And you just kind of
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Well,
unbelievable machine. Incredible.
So it's funny because I know that Warwick spent like $1 million or something on their fretting machine, which basically does that.
Well, this is just for cutting the fret.
I know, but I'm saying the way that they do the same thing with no fret ends coming off the end of it and stuff like that. So it's just kind of funny that they spent a ton of money on it. This machine's been around for a while.
Yeah. Certainly, yes.
That's really cool.
And then, obviously, fretting station, old school, old world method. We use an arbor press for fretting. We've actually got two separate clamps to really make sure it seats.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. What did you say?
This is an arbor press. We use fretting. It's got two different calls that we use for fretting. One's actually a little more radius than the other, so we make sure the corner's fully seated before we press down.
Interesting.
Fret. But a constant 16-inch radius.
Can I fret a bass one here?
I have to sign a couple waivers for that.
It can be my bass. All the frets will come out sideways.
Yeah. Right.
We'll have hours worth of fixing it in there.
Right. So after the carving, sanding, fretting, everything, these guys are refining not only the neck carves, body carves, as well as sanding them up so they can get ready for stain. And I'll show you the stain room, but obviously, the same guys are working on every single base. They're following the base through completion until it gets, goes out to the finish room.
So I'm sorry. So say that bit again. So you're really almost assigning more of like a builder to a base at this point, or
after it gets glued up.
I see.
Yeah. That's so the carving and
finishing. Right.
That's carving, sanding, finishing. Yep.
Can I go look at what he's doing?
Absolutely.
Hi, we're gonna look at you.
Oh, that's fine. How are you?
What's your name?
Rob.
Jesse.
Nice to meet you.
Rob.
Yeah, it's your hand.
This is cool.
Look at that. Look,
Purple
gorgeous,
inlay on
really
the
gorgeous,
on the
yeah.
maple board. On an NS4, that'll be really cool. That's wacky. So what are you doing?
Right now, I'm just carving around the volute here, just trying to make it, smooth it out and get it, because they come off the machine, quite rough. So we got to clean up a lot of the angles with files, sandpaper, all that stuff. High-tech tools like a piece of hose, stuff like that.
I love it.
Yeah, classic wood theory tools. You got that from Stumac, right? This is like $250 on Stumac.
Dan really wants special right there.
Yeah, exactly. So how much? So like to get this to this point that you have it right now, how much time do you have into this?
This particular neck, I mean, are you talking from beginning to end or just
No,
like...
the process that you've been doing.
I've probably only been on this one for maybe 20, 25 minutes or so. You know, and it's...
Do you have a neck that's before he touches it?
Oh yeah, we got a ton in the cart.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we have a bunch, yep. So it's, yeah, they come off and they got like all these hard angles and everything on them.
Right.
And then once I get that to where I like it, then it's time to take the neck down to the proper thickness, you know, measure here.
So that's all done by hand, though.
Yep.
So really, the neck profile, you're just roughing it in with a CNC. You're not even close to
I mean, it's pretty close, but it's, you know, close but far.
it. Would you say there's much variation in neck profiles because of that, or is it pretty? I mean, obviously you're using a caliper, so you're getting.
Yeah. You know, we use a caliper, check with the straight edge. We got different gauges and stuff we check. And,
right.
But people do request thin neck cars, so we have thin neck cars. We have the Doug Wimbish profile, which of course is a narrower nut width, which then changes the overall profile because as you make it narrower, you can't have the exact same
the shoulders
shape
change.
to get the same thickness.
Right.
And that between 5 strings too, that changes 5 narrow, 5 wide, all that stuff.
Right.
Yeah, and then a lot of it's just feel, you know, sand feel until you're, you know, you feel like you got it nice and round and everything feels good.
Yeah. Now, have you been working here since the previous shop too?
No, I started in January. I'm new blood, yeah.
There you go. Do you like it?
Oh, I love it.
You can say you hate it.
Well, not on camera. No,
He's fired.
It's great.
gone.
Couldn't be happier, to be honest with you. So.
It's fun stuff.
Fantastic.
Woodworking is like so addicting. You do it a little bit, and it's just like, I don't know, there's something about it, you know, to get to, and to do it more creatively like this versus like really hard production is fun. I did a lot. My dad was a technology teacher. He had a whole like wood shop and stuff, you know, so it's cool. I got to screw around a lot when I was younger. You know, building stuff and screwing around.
Yeah, same with me. My dad had a wood shop that I was in like by the age of like 10.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I built my first guitar when I was like 20, and just, you know, here I am now. So.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Hey, nice to meet you.
You too, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Obviously in various stages. Pat's working on stain at the moment. This one's getting the haunted moss finished. So it starts out with black stain, gets sanded back, and then gets the green on top.
There's all that sanding. You've got to have the best elbows in Woodstock.
Either that or the worst.
Depends on how you look at it. Right?
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of people don't know that a lot of stains start out with black underneath, right? That's how you get a lot of depth out of a stain. Otherwise, they come out kind of straight, and I don't know. They don't look like they're 3D, right? So that's how you get that 3D. But it means that there's a heck of a lot of sanding, right? Because you got to stain it black, but you have to get rid of most of the black. How far are you in the sanding off of this black process? I guess you could say. Do you have a lot more to take down on it?
Not that much more, because you still, as you were saying, to get that kind of like 3-dimensional thing. When you have a top like this, obviously it's very figured, which is great. But you want to have like the peaks to have, or the valleys to have black, so that way when you do put the other stain on it.
Right.
So it's kind of a judgment call, but you want to do it where you're bringing out the best of the wood. And so if you take too much off, then you're going to lose that kind of 3-dimensional quality.
So it's totally piece by piece of wood. Then it's not like a you know, hey, I give it 20 rubs this way. And
no, every piece of wood's different. I mean, every that's the handmade quality of this, because you're not getting just kind of the same thing. Every wood has its own characteristics,
right?
As far as not only how it looks, but how it is to sand and everything else. This is a really good piece of wood. This was great to work with. Not too many difficulties. It's consistent throughout. And so by the time this is done, it'll really, I think it'll be a great looking top.
Right. So this stuff, like for example, in through, like this obviously is sanded out. Is this going to get sanded out further in here?
Yeah, that's getting a little more, yep.
Interesting.
So this particular, the haunted moss, it kind of is supposed to radiate out.
There's a little
center.
bit of a
So like you want, exactly. So you want like like this to be the most sanded, and then as you spread it out, it kind of diffuses.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
As we move on, we'll see
Thanks.
an even more complicated stains.
Oh, we got a
This
fade
is
going
Colin.
on. How you doing, Colin?
Hi,
Jesse. How you
She
doing?
is instrumental in getting all these stains.
He's instrumental?
No problem.
Is he a bass or a guitar?
I'm the only pure bass player in the shop.
Really? Me too.
So we,
No, it's, no, there's lots of bass players in the shop, actually. I play bass, yes.
Well, there's a bass player, and then there's a bass player. You know what I mean? Because every guitarist is like, hey, I play bass. You know? And then there's a guy that like actually started on bass. I mean, you think of music, you think of it from the bass up.
Yeah, I'm a bass player since I was 14. I'm pretty much a one-trick pony. But
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Yeah, I'm the same. I started playing bass when I think I was like 11 or 12. Actually, I did play drums before that. But drums kind of don't count. Started on an instrument, right?
don't tell Taylor, Jeff.
I know. I know. Hopefully they'll see that in the video when they watch it back later.
Yeah, right.
Sorry.
In terms of this stain, this is one that Colin came up with this black and white fade. It's a really cool look. Fades obviously
So,
from black to white.
This
up
was
to
one of
neck.
the NAMM basses, had the black to white fade, right?
Yep.
But this one's got a special surprise on the other side.
Oh!
This is the Alley Inferno, which I believe Chris came up with. And it's a regular Inferno, but there's black first, and then red, then the gold, which gives it a little more.
So there's like a little like amber in there almost, like a goldish.
It turns
We
amber.
had a
That
NAMM
also
base
has
in
to
that
do
finish
with
too,
the.
didn't we?
Yeah, we had a NAMM base.
We
in
did
that
have
finish
another one,
also.
yeah.
It depends on where the wood starts out to, the color of it, what the finished product.
This is an ebony inlay, it looks
It
like.
is, yep.
So that's cool. So it's a Palmoon board with a normal ebony inlay. Oh, that's hot. That's really, really hot. So I love the inversion of normal ebony versus the Palmoon. That's so cool.
Yeah, it is very cool. I like the ebony in there too.
And it's got lumen lace side dots and stuff too. Did I order this? Because I really like that. I'm just kidding, I did. But I want it. And then the back has the black to white thing.
Gorgeous.
Yep.
Now, how the heck do you get white out of it? Because I've asked for white on a lot of builds, like a white stain,
Yep.
and it's really difficult. And almost every time I've done it, it doesn't really come out the way it looks good, but it doesn't come out the way that I envision it, which is the way that you're doing it right now.
Right. Well, you know, white is there's lots of different kinds of white, but we can just get it relatively white pretty much by bleaching the wood.
Right.
So that's what we did to this. Just the neck, pretty much down to here, was bleached.
Really?
So you have a lot of contrast. And,
Interesting.
you know, there's a little bit of a very diluted black stain on there to get the look. But that's pretty much it. We don't necessarily stain something white or whitewash it. We just bleach it.
Interesting. So bleaching and then just a tiny bit of black.
Yep.
That's very interesting. When we did the Ish Limited run a couple years ago, they were Buckeye Burl, but then stained blue, and then that's how they got the blue to really pop. They bleached the Buckeye first, so the yellows and whites, or whatever you want to call it, kind of yellows in the Buckeye would get as light as possible.
Yep.
So it took the stain really well.
That's what does it. It really makes it very bright and lots of contrast.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That looks awesome.
Thank you.
Very cool. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Nice to meet you.
Nice
So
meeting
to
you.
see more of that, let's head into the stain room.
Oh boy.
So as we come down here, you'll see various parts that we need, whether they're bodies that are in production,
Little
test
half a-
bodies. Yeah.
I love
little
it.
chunks.
Obviously, tons of sandpaper,
Hey, can I bring one of these home?
inlays. Yeah, sure. We'll bring you up at the end.
I want some Spector trash so I can put it on my desk at the office.
Whoa.
We're gonna hang it on the wall probably more than likely.
Before we head into the stain room, actually, you're asking about seeing necks in various stages. So
Yeah.
this is kind of the most diverse area of the shop. You'll see necks.
Yeah, that doesn't look like a neck.
So neck starts out as a big, thick billet, and each billet we'll get 2 necks out of. We carve this exact shape, we cut it out in this shape, and then you'll get 2 necks, kind of the inverse on either side,
Right.
out of it. So this is, rough shape, just cut on the bandsaw.
So that gets so you're getting. Do you have any blanks?
Yeah, I'll
around?
show them in the back.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
So you're bringing a massive freaking block of wood then,
Yep.
and then that gets bandsaw.
Bandsaw.
Before you do anything else.
Anything else, then the angle gets carved in, the truss rod channel, carbon fiber strips,
Right.
those get installed when the fingerboard gets glued on. Headstock veneer, and then of course it goes into the stage that you saw out there where it's getting processed,
Right.
which, let's see, is something like, here's kind of the first stage where the taper, the inlays, the volute is kind of started here.
Right.
Headstock is thickness, nut slot, truss rod access. Then after that, get the headstock profile, inlays, fret slots, tuner holes go in. Then from there, let's see, that's the next stage. The back of the neck gets rough carved. So you're asking about the car.
Okay,
how it's
so
carved.
this is exactly what he was talking about. So I mean, this is very rough.
So he takes it from that to
Yeah, to this gorgeous heel, this gorgeous
this.
volute.
has
Oh,
to be
that's a
done by
huge
hand.
difference.
Absolutely has to be done by hand. Yep.
That's amazing. Because I mean, this is like you can't really see it on camera probably, but I mean, you can feel all the areas that the blade from the tool from the CNC machines. So you can feel all that. You can feel there's a bunch of little kinks and like it feels awful. And then it comes into this, which is like the most gorgeous. I really think Spector actually has one of the best volutes in their headstock. That's like a really. I think when you get really, really nerdy about instruments, that turns into a thing that you look at. Like when if you really get into luthier stuff, like it's just the feel of that volute is like a big.
All
thing
the
for me.
details matter,
Yeah.
for sure. Down to the tiniest thing. Obviously, frets, side dots, nut, everything all goes in at that point. Neck gets final carved, and then at that point, we've also got registration pins for where the body wings get glued on.
Oh.
So now the body wings get glued on.
Oh my god! I just got a great idea. Lou, I have to write this down. No, I'm serious.
So the only other thing I want to show you here before we go in the same room, we've got coated bodies and bolt-on bodies here. These are some are assigned, some are waiting for customers.
So you're actually pre-building some bodies at this point, also too.
Yep.
Now, I know that they've been working on getting the wood section all up on the website, so you can see.
Oh, yeah.
Is that going to happen for bodies too? Do you know?
Yeah. We could also just, you can still select a piece and then say I want it on a body.
Is there a
It's a
way to know
gorgeous look.
which one of these? Oh, that's really cool. You see that shimmer in it when you move it? Do you know which one of these are assigned or which aren't? You probably have to look at it.
I don't offhand at the moment.
Right? That's a cool piece. See, my problem is I look at this, and I just want it to have no pickups on it.
I'm with you. Every time I see the picture of it, I'm like, let's just not put any pickups, no bridge, just good.
I know. I just want to shoot some gloss on it and stick it
All
on the wall.
good. Yeah.
That's cool. You left this open.
Well, it was there, so we'll fill it with something. It's also, depending on what pickups go in there, it could be right in the middle of the pickup route, so there's no point in filling it if we don't have to.
Yeah, but it'd be cooler to fill it with some acrylic or something.
Well, not if there's going to be a pickup route right over it.
Yeah, no pickups.
Yeah, right. Yeah. All right, so let's move to the state.
Oh, cool.
So here's a couple examples of that super faded black. Obviously, it's so popular. So that's basically the process that you saw Pat doing out there preparing for the haunted boss. Same process for super faded black. You just stop before putting on the black stain, and that's what you get here. So you put the black stain on, sand it back.
That's
so you see the peaks, valleys, and the figure. So you get that.
Man, I see so much stuff that I'm so jealous of. Like when you hear a song, so what do you play?
Guitar, bass.
So when you hear a song and it's so good, it's exactly the way you would have done it, and you're like, dude, I wish I wrote that song because that was exactly the way I would have done it. Like I've seen a couple things already that I'm like, that's exactly how I would have done it. Like that thing is incredible.
Yeah, this is a good one. When this one came through and they said it was going to, so this is going to be a natural finish, no stain, just natural buckeye top. I went back and picked out this specific piece.
That
didn't
is
pick the wrong
nuts.
piece, so I picked this out. So
This
I
is
just
3
love
colors.
the 3-color
It's like a
buckeye.
natural
Yep.
fade.
It was a no-brainer.
This is
This one,
an
yep.
insane piece of wood. I've never seen buckeye that looks like this.
Yes.
Also, this fretboard is sick too.
Abalone ebony.
For being
Yep, abalone
for
inlays.
being Halmon, but then having that in it.
Yep.
Actually, the one thing me personally would have changed, I would have gotten rid of a bunch of this inlay. Just because it makes it clean, that fancy
Yep.
body,
And of course the
the body
redwood.
matches it really well too.
Yeah. Some nice figure in the neck on this one. You can
That's
see
so
in there.
cool.
That's kind of, more luck of the draw.
I like your Saw version of. Is that a blood splatter over there?
Yeah.
Is that how the Alex Webster's made?
Sorry, excuse me.
Is this what happens when
Random sacrificial goat.
when somebody mixes up a stain color or something? Gets beat up over
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So you guys
Yeah,
are all.
Pat's the muscle.
You get put to the wall.
So all the staining gets done right here then.
The stain, yep. Hang here. So we've got a fan on it for especially when we're bleaching it or for the stain to dry.
Right.
And a couple are going to be, multi-stage stains like we saw before, like this ultraviolet glow is similar to the ultraviolet we've been doing,
incredible.
but it starts with a diluted ultraviolet first, then with a more diluted, heavier, or less diluted. Rather.
Even like in person, just without even gloss on it, that color just looks like it's exploding.
It's going to be amazing.
Also, did you see this headstock? Holy crap!
Buckeye headstock.
Oh, and you matched it.
Yep.
Oh,
I'll pull that one out in a second too. This is
insane.
Honestly, this is one of my favorite
ridiculous.
ones. I love this stain. This is a cinnamon glow.
Ooh.
So we guys call it cinnamon toast crunch.
I like cinnamon toast crunch personally. I literally ate that this morning.
Especially with this figure, this wood. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. The back is really more of a violet color.
That's killer.
Works great with
soaks into the ash a little bit.
Yeah. This is a beautiful one.
Ash is
Really
such a cool wood because like you put stain over it and so many things can happen.
Yep.
It just looks like
especially when you get to like the grain fill side of things, fill in all the grain of ash black, sand it back, and then put a stain on it.
Yeah. I love that this says, I love this signed headstock, everyone in the shop. I thought that was really cool. I thought it was a really cool addition that kind of has happened recently. Yeah, I dig that.
There's another Buckeye one back here. This Buckeye is getting I'm pretty sure this one, or maybe it was, I think it's this one, it's getting a charcoal edge burst.
Got the board on that too?
With a charcoal burst?
Pretty sure. Yep. Charcoal edge burst.
That is so sick. Oh, I want
Again, pale moon with
Oh,
ebony
look at all this
inlays.
stuff in here too. This is ridiculous. Yeah, with the ebony inlay.
Yep.
I'm so happy that you're getting on like wood inlays and stuff like that too. That's where it's at.
Yeah, the pale moon logo is a nice touch for sure.
This is absolutely sick.
Buckeye matching headstock, of course.
Yeah, shout out to Music Wash on this one. I think it was Chuck Levins on the other one.
Yep.
That's some great stuff.
Yeah. And then we have some that are not completely, the color is kind of done in multiple stages between stain and finish. So this is getting, it's already got an amber kind of vintage tint type of stain, but then it's going to get a sunburst around the edges.
Interesting. Yeah, so look a lot more dynamic.
Yep. But it's nice to start out with this as the canvas as opposed to the raw white. That's a different look. We do both the natural tobacco as well as the tobacco sunburst. This is the tobacco sunburst.
Right, of course.
So you get that more vintage look.
That's awesome.
And then we move into final assembly, which is where after things have gone out, gotten finished, come back, start getting put together. This is Adam, who does all the final assembly.
What's up, Adam?
How's it going?
Good.
Talk about some killer finishes.
Ooh, yeah, Interstellar.
Yep.
Oh, that's a sexy base. Look at that. Nice black ebony.
Jet black ebony.
It's tough to, although I like streaky ebony and like kind of funky looking stuff, just can't beat it. Nice
Dark.
ebony board.
Yeah.
It's just, there's something about it just looks so classy.
Obviously, we're putting the protective tape on everything as we work on things, so it does get a little difficult to show off what's going on. But this is an example of the shoreline on
nice.
Spalt, where we save the kind of punky areas of the Spalt and color in all the solid flame areas.
Yep. So this whole thing started, actually, it's kind of funny, back on a PRS build that I did that ended up totally taking off. Then the guys were at the shop while we had it on the wall. And then like that summer NAMM, they're like, hey, we made this. And they made a version of that. It was so funny. The first one came out pretty good. That looks amazing. I love how it's into the back colors and the neck and stuff too.
Absolutely.
This is pretty cool. So
Oh yeah, that's a real good one. Can't wait to see that one all done.
that's like a whole rainbow. That's so cool. I love that you're using this like sticky tape stuff to protect it. That's so smart.
it's kind of it's the non-adhesive stuff that
I've never really seen a shop do that
stick to a
before.
gloss surface.
Oh, right, just because it's glossy, it'll kind of stay on
It
it.
just saves you a lot of headache when working on a gloss base.
Right.
We want them to be as perfect as possible when they leave here.
Now, do you see more stuff going gloss or satin?
In terms of the direction that we're going, or what's actually being built now?
Well, I'd say what people are ordering. You know?
Mostly gloss.
Interesting.
Yep, mostly gloss. We got a couple euros there that we've got in the shop for a minute.
Just doing a setup.
Yeah. Doing some fret work.
I like your padded bench. This is like how everything in my house
Yeah.
should be padded.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Super cool.
Setup tools for days. Amar would be jealous over here. The Music Nomad stuff's really awesome. We use a lot of that too.
And these nut files are awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, they've been doing a really good job. Cool stuff. Fancy. Alright, cool, we're next.
Candy store. It's a little loud back here with the air compressor, but we're gonna take a look at some wood. So, before we start having a lot of fun, you're asking about neck pillows. Yeah. So this is how they come in. And like I said, they get cut in half. There's a neck billet.
So this is a blank bed.
Yep. That's the big one. It's a 6-string neck billet. Just put this on the blooper reel.
Yeah. Like I feel like I need to be carrying it over my shoulders to build a house with it. Oh my god.
That's 6-string.
This literally weighs like 25 pounds.
A lot of that comes off.
This is insane.
So that versus, on this.
It's crazy. So this comes pre-glued also too. Yep. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we don't have to make it up to our specs.
Interesting.
Yeah, we absolutely dictate how these come in.
That's nice, because otherwise when I'm in here, you have to paint it up. But,
Yep, I've done that for years. So, yeah, so we have necks that we're slicing up and we're kind of grading as they come out. You never know what you find.
is this the new Kramer edition
Yeah, right.
aluminum neck
Yeah.
Spector coming out?
The extra thick neck, yeah. So we've got everything from neck grooves, roasted, bolt-ons, codas, all that stuff is here waiting.
What is this?
Roasted maple. The only necks we do are maple and roasted maple.
Right. Yeah, the roasted stuff is phenomenal.
Yep.
It's funny for a second with the color and the grain, it almost looked like walnut.
Almost, yeah.
You know, from the side there. You're like, yeah, kind of, not really, man.
Well, we got some on compared to. So yeah, that's how the bills come in. Over here is where we're getting busted up. Most of this wall is all quilted and flame maple.
That's all this stuff I want.
Yeah.
Gently sprout. Yeah, I haven't gotten to see this yet. It's been over a year since I've gotten to do any builds anywhere. So it's so weird. I was just telling Tom on the way down here, I'm like all antsy to get to like thumb through some wood. You know.
Just last week got a huge delivery from Kimball Hardwoods, who's a new supplier for us. Derek Kimball does fantastic work. We got a bunch of new flame quilts. We got actually even some flame quilt that's thick enough for solid wings.
Yeah, which is getting really rare. Really, really rare. And that's another thing that Spector people, well, I shouldn't say Spector people, but people who happen to buy Spectors a lot of times don't realize a body that thick is insane of a solid flame or quilt. And like back in the day, it was insane. Now it's just ridiculous. You can't get it. It's so difficult.
This thick and has flame all the way through both sides. Yep.
It's
rare to find this
It's
stuff.
really like, wood has gone way up in price and has gotten much more scarce for the really high quality flames and quilts especially. Again, at PRS and private stock, they're not taking any orders for quilt right now. It's crazy because there's just not enough good quilt that you can get.
We've got some pretty good stuff actually. Here's a set of wings.
Oh my god, that is ridiculous. And that's all the way through? The thing with luthiers is that they always say the wood is like the vault. You know what I'm saying? Like it really is like the life of the business. If you have good wood, then you've got good instruments. If you don't have good wood, you really don't have anything. It all comes down to the wood. Not just the prettiness of it, but also, the way it sounds. So it's funny because any luthier I've ever met and ever worked with, they all have this like stash of woods that they're super like, keep it really close to the
Like
hip,
this.
That's insane.
Unbelievable. Look at all the flame. I don't know if you can pick it up, but there's super flame running all the way through this. It's incredible.
So obviously we're at Federa. Federa is one of the kings of woods, right? They're like really probably the company to me that really brought like buckeyes, spalds, and all that stuff. Would you say this wood selection is on par with Panera?
We definitely don't have the spread that Panera has by any stretch.
Really?
But we stick with what what works. Our formula is the maple, especially the maple top. That's a big thing. Which the thick maple top too. That makes a big difference too. A lot of different companies use 7, 8, 30 seconds, pretty thin tops. This is really crucial not only to the look and the history of the company, but also the sound. That much maple really has a big effect on how punchy and how strong of an attack.
I totally agree. So people ask all the time when they're making a custom order, I want the Spector tone. What should I do? What should I order? What should I get? And funny enough, the thing I say almost all the time is maple and EMGs and PJs. Usually EMG PJs. There's something about the combination.
Well, the HAC preamp has a lot to do with that.
Yeah,
the combination of the EMGs, especially the vintage sound. The vintage EMGs really had a great sound, and that's why the ones that we choose to use, the X's, are a little more leaning toward the vintage sound of the 80s EMGs.
Yeah.
Had a really good, really warm, a little more natural sound than a modern hi-fi type of thing EMGs are typically known for these days.
Yeah.
But the combination of that with the HAC is a really great thing, and especially with how punchy the maple is,
you got the maple on
it really works. That, or obviously, when you talk about the Spector sound, there's kind of a couple different eras. The early era, all walnut.
All walnut.
Walnut is huge. So maple and walnut is such a good combination.
You know what? And I love that era. Those are actually my favorite basses, and also the early DeMarzo pickups.
Yep.
That for some reason everyone forgot about.
Yep.
But those DeMarzos are incredible. They're some of the best sounding pickups.
We just got actually it's the new DeMarzio pickups. DeMarzio needs it's the new Billy Sheehan pickup, the solid metal cover.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, we're gonna try those out. We're gonna put those in a couple builds. You might see it. We're gonna mess around with some stuff here. But we're gonna have a lot of fun with some different woods, some different pickups. But we really want to, not only honor the heritage of the company, but also make sure people know there's a reason that Spector took off back then. There's a reason those basses sound so good. Solid maple, solid walnut. And some of the early ones had solid cherry. Really? They used some different woods, but they were all solid because that much wood is so responsible for the tone of the instruments.
Yep.
And it's really important. So, we love doing solid wings whenever we can, especially with maple. With the solid walnut wings, we just did another one that's very vintage inspired NS1 style. That is such a cool bass. And I want to make sure people know, the importance behind that, not only tonally, but also historically.
That's really interesting. That's very interesting.
Yep.
That's awesome.
So, let's get more of the modern side of things we were talking about, the influences of the industry that places like Panera have really been responsible for setting the trend for, using a lot of buckeye, a lot of really exotic woods like the Ziracote, obviously, you're familiar with spalt and maple burl, stuff like that. We try to keep up on that. We try to, get some woods that really show off a lot of the finishes that we're doing. Like that Alias Inferno that you saw in front, that demands a certain piece of wood.
Exactly.
The black and white, the super faded black, demands a certain type of look. So we want to stay totally true to the instrument, but also find a piece that looks as good as the stains that we've been doing for the last couple of years.
That's awesome. Is this redwood?
Yes, it is.
So
it's all reclaimed.
So this is all the reclaimed redwood.
Yep.
So the story on that was there was a water tower that they bought it, and
I don't think they bought the water tower. I think the water tower got taken down. All this wood, this reclaimed wood, old, hundreds of years old redwood, came down with it, and Stuart bought up that redwood, and we've been trying to source more and more of it ever since.
So, is it ever going to run out?
Of course. Absolutely.
Can I look in here a little bit? So
But this is all, so we got 2 pallets of it in. This was a brand new pallet that we got to crack open. This is what we get out of it.
So this is finished after, so you plane it then?
Yep.
So you plane it in-house?
Yeah.
So you plane it down, but then it starts like, so it starts like this.
How cool is that?
That's so cool. Oh, I just got another idea.
Just leave it like that.
That's so cool. Are there like nails or anything in it, or just like?
Absolutely, there are nails.
So you're just playing.
There's rod that we have to cut around sometimes. We get pieces that we just can't use.
Right.
Because there's so much water and minerals in it over the years, over decades, that it's unusable. So we have to cut around a lot of that.
It's so cool to see how that starts, you know? Because it's not like it's New York City. I know, it's literally a piece of New York City in the base. It's like so cool. Yeah. That's wild. Again, doing this for a while, every spray bottle, anywhere you've ever gone to pick wood, is always shot. It's like, why is
what the hell? This thing's like fucking.
It's because it's almost empty fuel back there.
Will, going in there with the good. Always with the solution, Will.
Dude, for solid, that is fucking sick.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Here, if you want to, why don't you move these ones out from underneath here? Because otherwise I don't have a place to. I can't do them. Oh, it's so nice to see some wood in person. Yeah, that's it. Alright, what else we got? Do you have script? Send it back. Send it back. This is still the winner. Well, so what I like to do is basically, whenever I find one that's really great,
Try to beat it.
everything that comes out next, if I don't see it go, or like make a sound, or like really go nuts, then like,
Make a sound.
yeah, that's my thing. That's what I tell these guys all the time is that if you see a guitar,
Yeah.
and it makes you make an involuntary noise. If you're like, then you know it's a new guitar. Yeah. If you just involuntarily make something. Ooh, spray that one.
Yep. Yeah, because that's got some.
I mean, that's like,
it's
woo, you can see from over here. Holy shit. So this is really, really wide quilt.
Yeah.
Do you think that's gonna get washy when it takes stain?
Oh, no.
I like it.
Yep.
I like it. We'll set it aside. I don't know if I love it. My first time using it, I feel like I'm using like 3 plain bases, like,
Yep.
Yeah, I'll take that one.
Yeah, that's good. You don't have to wet it all.
You still should hit
See
it.
this happen there? I just made a noise.
Oh, yeah.
You knew when you set that one down too. I could tell.
I
He's
saw
like,
my little face.
he's like, yeah, watch this.
That's ridiculous.
Wow,
Yeah.
man.
What the heck? The pack!
Yup.
Yeah, I'll take that. See, those are the pieces that I want. I don't know, what is
Best stone walnut. BASTOGNE.
I've never heard of that.
It's generally that really rich color, you know. Walnut. It doesn't ever really get pale like that. Usually it's got a lot of this weird kind of grain variation.
Yeah, I like all that. So that's that. That's the Spector new facility here. I honestly really like it. It's so clean. It's a killer spot. It's just got a great energy in here. It's just the way that you want a base to be built. It's phenomenal. Will said that there is some even more exciting things coming soon that we can't talk about. So that'll be happening. And most importantly, we're gonna be back here all the time. We only live a couple hours away, so I'm trying to come down here every couple months and build woods, pick woods for you guys when you do custom builds through us. So hopefully we'll be seeing Will all the time, and we'll shoot some more videos. So like, subscribe, share, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.